right, you are getting close to your first speech, so I want to give you an overview of what to include for this speech, what the purpose of it is, and the process for getting to the point where you can deliver it. So if you have looked at the syllabus, you have seen this description that is up here on the top, which kind of tells you what the point or the purpose of the overall speech is. But let me start with explaining something pretty general. I use this speech as a way to gauge where your skills lie at the moment. I am a very focused individual instructor. I work with you as an individual rather than as a class as a whole. So I don't expect everybody to have the same skill level. And this speech gives me the opportunity to see where your skills lie at the beginning. So we're making it a pretty straightforward speech. It is a 2 to 3 minute speech that asks you to introduce yourself to your audience by incorporating a related artifact of personal interest. And when I say artifact, I mean some tangible man-made item that says something about you. You want to pick whatever artifact you choose. You want to pick one that represents a pretty significant aspect of your background or your interests, maybe some values or beliefs you have, or ambitions that you may be experiencing at the moment. Now, when you choose the artifact, you want to consider which one most appropriately describes the personality traits that you would like to portray. I've had people choose special gifts, as I've shown here, and those could be things like a ring from a grandfather, or a necklace from a grandmother, or I don't know, something from a parent or a sibling. I gave my sister this necklace that is a infinity symbol, half black and half white, because we are totally different, complete opposites, but we work together. So there was some symbolism there about my relationship with my sister. Now that's the kind of thing that would be considered a special gift. Maybe you bring something like that, maybe an award for something you achieved, or a memento from an event or experience you had that says something about your personality. Maybe a photo. Those don't work as well, but they are doable. A photo of a person that's made an impact on your life, or of an animal that you are really connected to, or you work with, or what have you, or a group of people, and so on. So pick something that is a tangible item that you can actually physically bring to class and show as an example of your personality. Now, how do you incorporate that personality? Now, you'll notice that we're doing something with this on the discussion board this week, so you will have an opportunity to do this yourself before you get to actually giving the speech. But here's what we're looking for. If you see these two boxes, which are also on the discussion board, I am asking for you to pick an artifact first, whatever item that might be, and then some personality traits that coincide with that artifact. So let's just say I grew up my whole life playing baseball. I would want to include information that reflects my personality traits that I gained through this either passion for baseball or the experience of playing baseball. So maybe I will put over here on the top that I'm going to bring in an actual baseball, something very simple, or it could be a glove or anything like that. But let's just say I want to bring in a baseball. So I'll put baseball here. Then right here, I'm going to come up with somewhere between 2 and 3 traits that I think I received through the act of playing baseball, or I are highlighted by that baseball. So maybe I'm a very determined person. I might put determined here. Maybe I am a team player. I might put that there. Maybe I'm very loyal. I put that there. Whatever the traits are that I feel strongly represent who I am. And then on the other side, you want to put correlating examples with the traits opposite them. So for example, if I put determined here, on this side I might put a story about how I was determined to make varsity one year and I didn't make it and I kept pushing. And how did I keep pushing? What did I do that helped me to make varsity in the next year? Okay, that would be an example of being determined and how baseball helped me to get to that point. So you want to lay out the details, the broad trait here, and then the details on this side that coincide with each trait. You can have a minimum of 2, so if you can only think of 2, that's okay, but no more than 3. So you're going to lay these out so that you clearly know exactly what traits you have and how they connect to your artifact. And then when you come to give the speech, you're going to have a pretty simple layout of information. And I want to show you the rubric that I use to highlight how I would suggest you do this speech. Now you can do it in a number of ways, but this is the most popular way to do it. Now you'll notice this is a paper rubric, and we are doing a hybrid course. So actually I am grading the speech digitally, which means as you're speaking I will have a laptop up and I will be typing on that and including digital feedback. You can get it immediately, and it allows me to really think through each of the specific details without having to copy these papers and try to find you on campus and so on. So the digital rubric will look very similar to this. I'm actually looking for two sections here. And again, remember, I am looking for what your skill level is right now. So when I provide feedback on these areas, I'm not telling you that you're bad, good, or in between on those. I want to show you where your strengths lie and what things through this semester that you should probably work on. Okay? So what you'll see are some specifics about content. I'll ask that you have an introduction and that it's clear. I will look for how you incorporate your artifact into the speech and if you do it throughout the entire speech. I will look for what personality traits you showed and if you are connecting them to your artifact through a story or an example. So these are all kind of how you organize your ideas. And then how you transition between the introduction, the body, and the conclusion. Is it real choppy, or do you smoothly move through the entire speech? And then also the conclusion. How do you wrap everything up? I will give you some numerical evidence or some numbers to go by and consider how well you incorporated these things. But again, it is for me to see where you stand, not to knock you down on anything. In addition to content, I'm also looking at delivery, so I want to see how do you use volume, rate, and pitch in connection to your topic. Do you maintain eye contact with most people in the room? You know, look around a little bit, or do you look at me the whole time, or do you look at your paper the whole time? That kind of thing. Gestures, do you use gestures naturally, or do you put your hands in your pockets, or wrap your hands behind your back? That kind of stuff. And then posture. Do you stand up straight? Do you lean on a lectern or slouch? Do you turn your back to your audience? That sort of thing is what I'm looking for in these two. Again, this feedback is supposed to be simple and direct so that you can see where your strengths are and where you need to focus your work for the semester. Okay? So this is what you'll get from me. I may or may not have an actual number for you right away when I give speech credit. Usually when they're the short speeches like this, I can provide you with an actual number for a grade right away, but sometimes it takes me longer and I have to go back and reevaluate what I wrote and then assign a point. So you may see a 0 at first with this rubric feedback, but I will go back and add points to that. You should have no reason why you received a 0. Okay? So here's a sample of what kind of speech I basically see for this type of presentation. Usually, let's go with the baseball example. Usually I will have a student that will bring in their item and they will do a speech that goes something like this. I've got my baseball in my hand and I come up to the front and I say, "Hi, I'm Kristen, and today I brought with me a baseball, and I feel that baseball really highlights how I am a really strong team player and a very determined person." That's the introduction. That's the basics of the introduction. You obviously can add an attention getter or other material there, but that's the nuances, the basics. Then you go from that to the body. And when you get into the body, you say something along the lines of, "First, let me share with you how I am a determined person. When I was a kid," and go into your story, and you're going to spend more time on this section. Once you've completed that first main point, in my case determination, I'm going to move to the second main point. Now that you see that I am determined, I want to also share with you how I am a strong team player. As you can see, I've transitioned there. So then I will share with you my information and stories and examples about being a team player. And then after that, I'm going to transition to the conclusion. So now that you see that I am both determined and a team player, I hope that you can understand how baseball has impacted my life. Now again, this is the nuances, it's the brief short part of it, but it does include some of the necessary things that you need to have. So it's 2 to 3 minutes, really fast. You should be able to get all this stuff in without any issues. In delivery, I'm just looking to see where your skills lie, not whether you're fantastic or if you really struggle. I just want you to know where you are. And then I will provide that information in the rubric for next week. And there'll be more details about that on the week 3 board. So hopefully this all makes sense. If you have any questions, remember we are all available on the discussion board this week for this specific speech. But in addition to that, we also have the Facebook page. You also have my Twitter handle, so if you want to tweet something at me really quick, if you have a question, you can do that, or an idea, throw it out at me. I can respond to that very fast. Sometimes discussion boards take me a little longer, but the Twitter feed and the Facebook page are a very simple resource for you. So if you have any need to get some generalized feedback from myself or the rest of the class, feel free to post it there. Otherwise, email me, come to the campus and talk to me. You can run through your ideas with me, and I will work with you as best I can. If you have any questions, let me know, and I will see you on the discussion board.